Have you ever woken up in the morning and wondered to yourself, if ChatGPT built an aircraft carrier expressly designed to help destroy humanity's last hope, what would it look like? Well, that's exactly what I did today when I created this video. And we found out that ChatGPT's aircraft carrier is, like all of ChatGPT's other ships, extremely interesting in its design. In this episode of Project Prometheus, we're going to be giving ChatGPT all of the information on the aircraft carrier that I built in the previous episode, and then the AI is going to use that intel to build its very own horrific, robot, killing humans, evil AI aircraft carrier. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it. So during ChatGPT AI's design phase of the Archon class carrier, we ran into some interesting things right off of the bat. The first of these is that ChatGPT wanted to name the carrier the Vanguard, even though it knows, because I've been doing all of these in the same conversation, that the Vanguard is its battleship. This has to do with ChatGPT kind of forgetting what you said after 3 or 4 different entries, which is why we see some conflicting information at times. But essentially, ChatGPT specified a pretty conventional aircraft carrier that comes in at a whopping 280 meters long. This will be the biggest ship yet in Project Prometheus. It is going to struggle to hit that 350k material limit. ChatGPT also specified 4 100mm rapid-fire turrets as its anti-surface combatant. This is really cool because it shows that ChatGPT understood that our aircraft carrier had surface combatant capabilities, and it developed its own to try to compete with that. So that's really cool to see. And it also specified that I should have 40 to 60 aircraft on my carrier. And granted, I didn't tell it that this was from the depths, so that does make sense. And I tried to inform it that I wanted to have like a minimum of 6, but a normal range was 6 to 10. And it was pretty persistent in wanting 40 to 60 aircraft. So actually, I'm going to do my best to just give it as many aircraft as I can without making it a game-breakingly powerful ship. Next up, during the construction phase, obviously the most important part of any aircraft carrier is the deck on which the aircraft quote-unquote land. Of course, that won't happen in From the Depths, but still, it's important. So I started out by laying out the major dimensions of the carrier. Again, 280 meters long is massive. I'll do a size comparison later in the video, but this will be bigger than any other ship that's part of Project Prometheus yet. Additionally, I spent a good bit of time working on the 100mm turrets and used the 13x13 turret template to give us a really powerful 1-barrel turret. Another thing that I did is I essentially built a battleship hull and then put the deck of the aircraft carrier on top of it. This is similar to what they would have done during World War II, because a lot of battleships that weren't finished were converted into aircraft carriers after the war's end, when it became clear, sadly, that battleships were no longer the future. But anyway, the Archon is not only huge, but it packs a punch. It has just one problem: the budget. What's that behemoth on the water, you ask? Well, let me show you. This is ChatGPT's Archon class carrier. Now, this is quite the ship. It comes in at a whopping 280 meters long with a 40-meter beam and I believe 20-meter draft. And you might be wondering, why is the deck of this ship so bare? And the explanation is actually quite simple. If we look at the statistics, it is already over budget. With this ship, even just building the hull made it over budget. However, it does have a pretty competent armament to speak of. But first, let's just do a quick size comparison here so you guys get the idea. So all the way on the left, we have the Archon class carrier. In the middle, we have the Hammerhead class carrier, which is the human fleet's carrier. On the right, we have the Jebediah battleship. These ships are all of the exact same material cost, $350,000. Look at the size of the carrier that ChatGPT built for us. It is absolutely massive. And I would like to highlight that ChatGPT initially wanted to have 40 to 60 aircraft on its carrier, even after I told it that the normal or minimum is 6 and the normal number is anywhere between 6 and 10. It insisted on having that many aircraft. And I'm going to try, when we add aircraft to these carriers, as best as I can without like violating the rules of the project, to give ChatGPT what it asked for. But anyway, the armament. These turrets, let's get into non-hidden mode here. These are 100mm turrets with a rate of fire of 225 RPM. So they are incredibly potent. They are exclusively high explosive. They don't have any kind of fancy stuff. They're basically shredders that are supposed to destroy anything that gets too close to the Archon class carrier. If we look down in the hull, you can see these are the 13 by 13 turret templates, and they're absolutely stuffed with stuff. So that is the pretty much only armament that this ship can afford besides its planes. When we do add planes to these fleets, I'm going to be adding vehicle spawners over the entire deck of this ship, hopefully to the point where we have a ridiculous number of aircraft coming off of it. In the center here, we have a panoramic bridge along with a sensor array that's pretty competent, I would say. But overall, this ship is characterized by one thing, and it is a similar thing to ChatGPT's other ships, and that is its size. Most of the budget of this ship has gone towards this absolutely massive hull. I mean, this ship is huge. And the little bit of remaining budget went to these deck guns. So I would hate to see what happens when we finally add aircraft to this thing. So as always, we must test the worthiness of these ships we build here on the high seas. And when I say the high seas, it is not an expression. I literally mean the highest possible seas in the game. So welcome to the sea trials for the Archon class carrier. I have a hunch that this ship should be extremely good at, or extremely seaworthy. Its only fault is that occasionally its engines are probably going to get pulled out of the water, but it is literally just a slab of deck. I mean, this thing is like one of the simplest designs ever. Let's see it come through this wave. It's actually a submersible carrier. If we look at this, that is cool, man. Look at that. Imposing hull design. What's really interesting about this carrier too is the way that I actually designed the bow. When aircraft carriers, when it first became apparent that they were going to be kind of the future of naval warfare, a lot of countries that had ordered battleships took the hulls for the battleships that they were building and just added an aircraft deck to them. And that's kind of what I've done with our ship here. Let's wait for it to come through the waves. Maybe. Oh, there it is. Wow, look at that thing crest that wave. Oh my gosh. Look at it. Who knew that a 280 meter aircraft carrier could do a jump? It's beautiful. Another fun fact while we watch this thing do its sea trials, Japan in World War II, or Imperial Japan, I guess, actually put a good amount of research into developing a submersible aircraft carrier that was intentionally submersible, not like this thing. And that was supposed to be basically a submarine that had float planes that would be launched from it. And I believe the only reason that it was scrapped was because of the poor state of the war effort. But otherwise, we could have had submarine aircraft carriers, which I think is pretty awesome. These engines are absolutely clocking away here. Massive engines in this thing, absolutely massive. Intended to propel this carrier very quickly. Okay, and there it goes, taking off again. Jeez. Okay. Another bit of a weird thing that ChatGPT specified is to put the superstructure in the center of the ship, but because the deck is so big, it doesn't even really matter. But yeah, this thing is clearly extremely seaworthy. It is navigating these waves very well. It has not even shown any signs of capsizing and is nothing short of majestic, So for the Archon class carrier, we have a 5-star sea trial rating. So for the combat trials today, we're going to do something a little bit different. So this ship is an Archon class carrier. We have managed to locate one of these sailing from its dry dock into the active action area of the ocean. However, we happen to have on the horizon there a little task force composed of 1 Barracuda and 2 Kingpin-class destroyers, and we are going to see if we can't destroy this Archon-class carrier. So let's play and see what happens. So you can see these HE cannons are absolutely lethal. Let's have a look at the little task force over here. Oh, hang on. They're targeting the Spawno Fortress. Gotta fix that. Hang on. Pretend that didn't happen. Pretend it didn't happen. Let the games begin. You gotta love the sound of those cannons firing. Oh, man. The AP round from the Barracuda has pierced straight into the Archon class carrier. Ooh, and right through to the engine room. Another drawback of ChatGPT's decisions. This ship has very thin armor, and we have torpedoes out. And they have blown holes in the hull of this ship. The HE cannons are firing like crazy. Let's check in on our fleet over here. So they appear to be targeting the Barracuda. Oh, and the Barracuda has been rammed by the Kingpin. Surprise, the Kingpin class rammed something. However, it does not appear to have taken hardly any significant damage. Oh, although it has lost its sensor tower, which could be very bad for the Barracuda. Oh, but the Archon has taken serious damage. Looks like 1 boiler has been destroyed. Oof, yeah. Still taking punishing hits from the Barracuda, even though the Barracuda's sensor arrays are currently disabled. Oh, you gotta love that. Whew. And the torpedoes hit the side here. Beautiful. So we've blown open the rear portion, but one of the engines is still working despite all that punishment. And because the Kingpin rammed the Barracuda, it is effectively prevented from engaging. And the Barracuda is actually taking some significant damage, which is not all that surprising. I mean, we're dealing with a 350,000 ship here versus a 150k ship. This Kingpin is doing an excellent job, though, in pursuit of the Archon. We've got a torpedo volley out here. Let's see. 2 torpedo volleys. Let's see how they hit. One went straight into the engine room, all along the ship here. Looks like we've got some hits in on their fuel reserves, but they still have 3 operational main batteries. And the Barracuda is just getting... Oh, we lost the main battery on the Barracuda. And the Kingpin has destroyed itself. Okay, but the Barracuda has now broken free. This is good news for us. And it looks like the ship is dead in the water in terms of the engine. Yup. We have got a dead ship here. Blown the boiler room wide open. The Archon class is taking heavy damage, and the Kingpin is coming in to do what the Kingpin does best. If it doesn't get blown up first, which it looks like it might. It's going in for the ram, guys. Or maybe it's going to avoid it? No, it's going for the ram. Why would you do that, buddy? You had the leg up. Oh, and it's driving itself under the... Oh, I really have to fix the AI on those destroyers. They're effectively useless like this. Like, it's just driven itself under the carrier. And so is this one. So it's really just a damaged Barracuda at this point against the Archon, and we got 2 destroyed Kingpins here. This one has actually been killed. That is very impressive. This one is still fighting, but it is very, very weak. And the HE batteries are able to absolutely shred these light armored targets. Let's check in on the Barracuda and its firing. So taking out one main battery, and looks like it hit the second, but not much. Let's see how the Barracuda is doing over here. Yeah, so there you go. So it has been hit pretty severely, but the thing about the Barracuda is it has this heavy armor skin underneath the main body of the ship, which makes it extremely survivable. And the main battery is partially destroyed, but we still are firing on it, and this Kerman, excuse me, is just getting bullied right now. That is almost just tragic. Oh, okay, we've torn a hole in the center here. So it appears that the Barracuda is targeting... Ooh, but it is taking heavy hits. Oh, man. Every part of the Barracuda that's not the heavy armor or metal is just getting destroyed. I mean, look at how quickly it's shredding that belt line. Oh, and we've lost the last main battery. How is this ship still sailing right now? Oh my god. And the Archon still has 3 operational main battery guns. Meanwhile, the human fleet has lost one Kerman for good. A second Kerman is badly damaged, but still firing torpedoes. That's impressive. Oh, and we've weakened their material storage here. Oh, we're so close to blowing it up. And I forgot to even armor the ammo. It's just straight up unarmored. Alright, let's watch the Barracuda's final days. She's still kicking, oh my god. Yeah, you know, you gotta hand it to this ship. It is survivable. I think this is one of my favorite ships that I've built so far. It's just, it has that kind of battleship feel to it, and it's because it's not huge, I was able to put a lot of effort into each part of it, and it feels a lot more well put together than some of the other ships in our fleet. Now, unfortunately for this Kerman, it is effectively dead. Check in on the Archon here. Still 3 main batteries operational. Well, I think I know what we need to do. I think we are going to call for reinforcements. So just in time, ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by a Jebediah-class battleship that was in the vicinity. Hopefully this will be able to finish off the Archon that we are dealing with. We've already lost 3 ships to it, so this is not good. There she goes with the cram cannons. Let's see if we can get a hit in here. Probably going to be a miss. The first battery always is. Oh, we got 1 hit. Ooh. Ripped into the main hull here. And we've hit their ammo. Critical hit. And there goes one of the main battery turrets. Oh, wow. Okay. And the Barracuda, despite all odds, is still sailing. Look at this thing. Not any of the heavy armor belt has been destroyed, really. That is actually really impressive. And we've got the AI still intact here, along with the material storage. Meanwhile, the Archon is getting pummeled by the Jebediah, which is just shredding it. Also, the Jebediah is definitely due for a refit. I have learned so much since I started playing this game. I mean, this ship is like archaic technology compared to what I know how to do now. And I still feel like what I know how to do is barely even scratching the surface. There goes another main battery turret as the Jebediah closes the gap. It's targeting this area for some reason. I wonder if there's something here. Yeah, it probably still thinks that turret's alive. Gotta love these 4-barrel main guns. I mean, these things are awesome. has torn a hole straight through the ship. And hopefully it's not going for the ram, I was going to say, but it appears as though it is going for the ram. Okay, buddy. Oh, wow. Oh, okay. Well, the Jebediah seems to have come out the better on that one. Oh, it's going to ram it straight in half if we don't stop it. Jeez, what a gutsy approach from the Jebediah. Oh, the Archon is going to get split. No way. And the one Kerman is still fighting, as is the Barracuda. Oh, there's only a couple blocks still connecting in here. Although, we are losing cannons now because this main battery is targeting our Big Bertha crams. What are you shooting at? Confuse me. Okay, I gotta, ooh, not good. So this is another thing we need to address in the refit. These turrets cannot fully turn right now because I engineered them poorly. Jeez, though, look at these two titans duking it out. Meanwhile, the Barracuda is still sailing, and one of the Kermans is just recoverable but basically sunken. I gotta help things along here. I'm gonna blow this beam up. Can I do that? Yeah, there we go. And she splits right down the middle. The Archon is torn in half. Let's look at our health here. So I have the Archon as on our team, so it's actually benefiting from our healing too. It's at 52% health. Oh, and now probably even lower. But it still has an operational main battery, even though it is out of ammo. But it has been torn, and there goes the last main battery cannon. The Archon has been torn to shreds. But the unfortunate thing for us is, look at the Jebediah going all submarine mode on us. The unfortunate thing for us is that not only... Oh, is the AI dead? Yeah. Yep. Not only did we lose one Kerman-class destroyer, both the Barracuda and the other Kerman are recoverable, but we lost one Kerman completely. But our little task force was not able to take out the Archon by itself. We needed a battleship to do that. And that is both a testament to the survivability of this battleship and to the fact that we need to add target prioritization to our fleet. But even though we have destroyed this Archon, the war against ChatGPT and the AI is far from over. Things are going to begin to intensify now that both fleets have gotten a couple minimum operable ships. We're going to start seeing more fleet battles and more multi-ship confrontations as things go on. But if you want to see more of that, you're going to have to tune in next Thursday or Saturday for follow-up episodes of Project Prometheus. That has been this episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed the construction of the Archon and its subsequent destruction. Of course, this is not the only Archon because it is only a class of ships, not a singular ship. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am your war broadcaster for today, broadcasting with updates from the front in the war against the AI menace. We've been getting unconfirmed reports of a massive vessel being indicated on radar somewhere out in the middle of the ocean. We don't know what